want the truth? Are you tired of being so confused? You feel like you're more fucked up than the lies on the evening news? Well, just step right in. We can talk about it all as friends. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, stop offering me. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up all the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's stuff.
Amy, if you're on, and Samantha, I don't mean to be rude, and I could be wrong, Samantha, so don't get upset with me, and if I'm wrong, you can let me know. This looks like a bot, and this looks like a, hey, I'm sorry to interrupt your profile and bother you, but I really like your posts, and I was wondering if you could message me. Samantha, that's a compliment if you're real, because you're very, very pretty, but it usually is a young girl who's making duck face and is trying to suck in the older men in the audience. I'm just saying, if I'm wrong, I apologize. Keep an eye, Amy.
Hey, Hogs Twins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast. At The Dumb Show and his website. Yeah. Don't unfriend me.
We have confirmation, folks. We have confirmation. Samantha is real. Samantha is real.
Yeah.
Samantha, he's very married, so.
Yeah,
very happily married. It's great that you're into older men, but.
No, she's not. Don't do that. She's not into older men.
She said, haha, I am into older men.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
So.
Oh, well, Samantha, listen, this could possibly not work out. So we don't know. I mean,
we've only been together 24 years.
Yeah, it's only been 24 years. It very well may not work out. So hope amongst hope. Hang in there. This is the Don't Unfriend Me show. We are live Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's 8:30. I just got done with a run. I'm a little bit hot. I'm verklempt. I apologize. The Dumb Show. At The Dumb Show. You can find us at The Dumb Show. You can buy shirts and hats. You can get the new... Wrong side. The new Got God shirt. People seem to like it. We've had a couple of those go out the door today. She's like, not into married ones. Thank God for that. This is at The Dumb Show, Liv.
Oh, I already put your name up.
Every time, I swear to Lord. St. Crispin's Day. Anyway, this is at The Dumb Show. If you want to find us, you go to thedumbshow.com. 150,000 followers, folks. We hit 150,000 followers. You can see it right above me. 150,076. That's a pretty good day's work. Twitter is going nuts. Thank you. Appreciate it. Twitter is going absolute bananas. BANANAS. Live.
BANANAS.
If you haven't seen it, it's interesting. I've got some death threats today. The count is constantly going up, and you gotta appreciate people with opinions. This guy is his name is Dr. WDS. He's got the guy from The Crow in there, who sleeps with his sister, who's into witchcraft. This guy lives in his basement. He hasn't showered in days. He doesn't have any money, so he's playing World of Warcraft 2 on his Windows 95. He works at Burger King or McDonald's as a fry cook, and he's just angry. He's completely angry. I can't even keep this thing up because Twitter will ban me. I already tried to post it without redactions, and they got mad. I mean, they jumped on it in a New York second. And I gotta appreciate that because usually they just ban you. So at least they're warning me now, which is kind of a good thing. Here it is. If you were an actual gay man, hey buddy, how do you know I'm not? I'm willing to learn. I'd have more respect. You are a gun blanker. You wrap your pretty lips around a barrel and suck. I'm getting a little hot, so hold on. Okay. I bet you wish it would shoot in your mouth. Well, so do I. Oh, and dude, I'm effing with you for fun, and I'm having it now. Go rub your vagina. So immediately after that, I went and I rubbed Olivia's vagina. Olivia, how did you feel about that?
Yeah, I always like it. You know.
It's
always pleasurable.
It's always a good day. And, you know, and then the death threats, you know, it's just whatever. It is what it is. And all because I called out the left for their incessant, ridiculous call for the banning of the Second Amendment. And, you know, they keep denying it. They're denying. I mean, it's like Christians literally saying that they take umbrage with homosexuality. I think every Christian now is willing to admit that it's something that bothers them. Hate the sin, not the person. Yeah, whatever. Christians take some umbrage with homosexuality. Okay, we can say that. I think everyone can admit that now, and Christians can finally stop pretending that they don't. Could the left please stop pretending that they want to ban guns? Because we know they do. We know they do. Let's just all get our dirty laundry out here, okay? Can we just do it? We believe that if you have an abortion, that you're absolutely repugnant and you've got some serious issues with the sanctity of human life. And we're not big fans. Now, we forgive you. Not that that's our job. That's God's job. In fact, we shouldn't even forgive. We shouldn't even judge. We should just be like, you know what? I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to disassociate myself with that person. Wouldn't that be lovely if we could all just do that? Can liberals stop pretending that they care about kids, please? We know different. 67 million abortions. We get it, okay? Can you please stop pretending that you're not coming after guns? Can you please stop pretending that you actually love America? I mean, seriously. And I'm talking about the leftists here. I'm talking about the far left. Liberals, we can talk about with abortion and banning guns. But loving America, I got to give that to the leftists. Because there's nothing that I see that screams that leftists love America. I'm switching hats. This one's a great one. You can get it online. It's just a little too tight for my big-ass head. That's it, folks. It's just my big-ass noggin needs a little bit more breathing room. So anyway, to get to the rest of the show. That video is doing very well. We hit 150,000. That's exciting. What else?
I don't know what else would be exciting. I mean, we were on last night, so I mean, not much has happened since then.
That's not what we're looking for, Olivia. Oh. Seriously, do we have a want? Can we have a sad trombone, please, for your comment? So the most recent video that I just did, in my opinion, ends the debate about the Second Amendment. And I really want you guys to take a look at it. I need a vote. Let me know in the comments. And Rumble, we can see. Can we see Rumble?
Yes, there is 21 watching.
Nice.
And
Rumble
only
people.
One person is conversing with me.
All right. What are they saying?
Oh, it's just, her name's Judy, and she's saying, hi, how are you?
Is Judy hot?
I don't know.
It's Judy St. Vincent. She's a longtime listener.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we love her. So here's the deal. Comments are welcome. We have some questions last night that we didn't get to, and I don't want to be rude. I believe Debbie had some questions. Why don't you throw?
I got the email right here when you're ready.
So throw them out to me. Let's rapid fire. Give it to me.
Okay. She had 3 questions. The first one.
12 inches.
I don't think she wants to know that.
Oh. Okay. Doesn't everybody?
Would you ever consider going into politics because you know your material inside and out, and you know it because you do extensive research and you're fair, you look all sides?
God, more about me,
Our
please.
country needs someone like you.
They sure do.
I wish you
agree.
could at least be an advisor. I think even thick-headed Trump would listen to you and out his huge ego head aside.
Well, I have orange shake on my lip.
There's 2 more, but answer that one first.
Folks, this is one of the greatest shakes in the world. It's high in amino acids, protein, carbs. It's
so gross. So gross. It is.
What are we reenacting earlier this afternoon?
No, it stinks every time I make
it. Smells like orange, man.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Oh, it smells
like Orange Julius.
It smells like orange
no.
that's been thrown back up. Even the kids gag.
Whatever.
Oh,
Orange
gross.
Julius, folks. Have you ever had an Orange Julius? That's what it's
No.
It's fantastic. It's the greatest shake in the world. But it gives me a little mustache because of my mustache. All right. First of all, I think it's a very good question. There was a time when I got out of the military that I couldn't do what I was doing anymore. So it was work in the civilian sector or work as a civilian as a contractor for the government. And that's what I decided to do. realized that I didn't enjoy what I was doing anymore. I enjoyed being outside of a bunker or a skiff, and enjoyed working with. Sorry, you always know when Leroy and I are trying not to divulge. Doesn't matter. I worked intelligence, and I enjoyed working outside of the normal parameters of a blue and gold watch. Let's just put it that way. So once when I had my injuries, I realized that there wasn't much I could do, and I decided that criminal justice and political science was my major, and I was going to use my military college fund for that. And I had aspirations to go into the FBI. I still had a great clearance. I had a lot of connections in the FBI, CIA, National Reconnaissance Office. I was being recruited by multiple alphabet agencies. And I realized the FBI is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be FBI. But the physical requirements, I could probably pass now, but I couldn't pass then with my back injuries, knee injuries, sinus, clavicle, shoulder, separation of my teeth, jawbone miss. I mean, I was pretty banged up. So at that point, I just kind of surrendered and continued through my college, and then said, yeah, this isn't going to work. So I went to work with a force recon friend of mine in Circuit City. Went to work for him as a manager, and then I got into executive management from there with a lot of growing, store manager, district manager, regional manager, then executive vice president, and grew my retail career and worked for some pretty prestigious Fortune 15s. All in all, throughout that entire bullshit, I realized that I don't have the temperance for politics.
I also won't let him run. I don't want our family out in the public eye and as
we run a show with 150,000 people.
Yeah, but I don't want it like that.
Yeah.
I don't want our dirty laundry aired for everyone to see and the kids to be dragged through that. And no, I won't let him run.
It was one porn video with a short person from Mexico and a donkey, and you shouldn't be ashamed. It was fantastic. The cinematography was incredible. The sound was a little much. It's hard to balance between a human and a donkey because one's very, very loud from a decibel level and one's not. So if you're looking, that's not a donkey.
Well, I don't have a donkey.
We need to get a donkey sound. Do we have a ping pong ball sound? What about an electric hedger? That was in the video too.
An electric hedger? What the heck?
Some power tool. So folks,
geez.
Listen, dirty laundry is this. And I'll be honest, this is why I don't run for politics, because there was a time when I was going through my habitual addictions to opiates because of my surgeries and because of my weak will. I let myself go. I didn't take care of myself. I went to a horrible place. I treated people like dog shit in management, and left a wake of just not being a very good human being, not being thankful for their work, not being appreciative of who they were, not respecting their time, their work-life balance, their individuality. And I'm not being a touchy liberal. I believe there's a very healthy balance when you want to drive people to success, and you got to be a passenger with them. You don't necessarily try to be their engine. I would create people short-term success that would lead to long-term failure. So although that wasn't my whole career, it was a lot of it, because my struggle with opiates started, in 99 when I got out, and went on all the way till 2017? 16. 16 surgeries, 3-level fusion, discectomy, spinal cord stimulator, reconstructive surgery on the spine and the jaw and the mouth. It just, constant pain. So I've left a lot of damage in my wake, and I don't think I'm man enough to deal with that. I would love for each and every one of those people, all 30,000 of my employees over my entire career, and I've positively impacted a lot of them. And that's the one thing. Even the ones that I wasn't great to, they'll tell you, they're like, you made an impact in my life. At least you added some positive with a negative. And some of them will tell you, hey, he's the greatest boss I've ever had. And some people tell me he's the biggest dick I've ever had. Well, maybe not the biggest, but certainly the biggest in the room. Should never know these days. Liv, there's something I need to know.
No, why?
Well, you missed my punchline.
I did.
I said, he may be the biggest dick I know. I said, well, maybe not the biggest, but certainly the biggest in the room.
Got it.
It's a dick joke, Liv. You don't even know what movie that's from. I need Leroy back. Can Leroy?
No, I don't know what
Leroy,
movie
please
that's from.
come back. It's from frickin' the anger management, where he's taking a pee in the urinal, and then the guy with the big huge whale penis, and then he's like,
Oh. Yep.
he's like, who's got the biggest? He's like, well, biggest dick. He's like, well, maybe not the biggest, but certainly the biggest in the room. All right, whatever. So anyway,
Got it.
Leroy laughs at my jokes. Where's my Leroy? I need him back. Please come back from New Mexico, Sandia Labs. All right, so
He's having withdrawals.
he's in Albuquerque. I mean, poor
Oh,
Leroy.
God.
He's probably already addicted to meth. So
God.
and fire water. So anyway, I just know that although I would like to reciprocate some open and honest dialogue with former employees, I just don't know if I could. I'm man enough to handle those stories on the level that it would come back, and the amount of people who would be like, screw that guy can't run for office, and maybe something local. But honestly, I'm doing what I'm meant to do. I'm good at this. And, don't let the live numbers fool you, but you take a look at some of the recorded videos, you take a look at the interaction on the site, the growth of the site. I'm good at this. This is what I was meant to do. You going to bed, little man?
Wait. Here.
All right, buddy, come on over. What do you got on today? Sharks?
Yes.
Come here, pal. I love you.
If you
I love you. Say night to everybody.
9-9, I'm getting tall. I'm taller than you when you're sitting on a shell.
They can't hear you.
I am getting tall. I'm taller than him when he's sitting on a shell.
Yeah, go ahead and get out. You can get out now. You can get out. You can leave. See you, buddy.
Bye.
Baby shark, do 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 do.
you.
Baby shark, do 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 do. Baby shark, do. You are getting tall, bud. Remember, turn those wrists when we're batting, dude. Turn those wrists. Barrel of the bat on the sweet spot. Love you. Baseball tomorrow, right? Hey, baseball tomorrow? All right. Love you. Bye. Okay.
I might ask you to take him because I have 8 hours of driving to do tomorrow. I'm probably going to be pretty exhausted when I get home.
Whatever. So,
Whatever.
so I'll take him. I got no problem with that. So,
Olivia has good genes because he's cute, even though he looks just like his dad.
who said that?
Somebody said he's so cute.
Who's somebody? You can't give me somebody. Who said
then,
it? Ban them. Amy, ban them. So,
I got to find it. They just said it. And I can't.
Pamela, relax. Pamela, we are going to talk about gun laws. This is what we do. We have a very personal relationship with the viewers and myself, and you don't get this anywhere else. So you may not want that, but if you just want to be talked at, go to Fox News, right? They're going to tell you everything that I won't. So I don't know what to tell you, but we're having a good time. We're talking a little bit, okay? So I'm sorry that bothers you, but whatever.
It was Ashley. She said Olivia has good genes, even though he's
Fired.
your freaking clone.
Fired. All right. So anyway, so that's why. That's why I'm not going to run for office. I'm not. I'm doing what I meant to do. What's the next question?
My second question was, why did you join the military, and how did you overcome everything you've been through?
I joined the military because I didn't have anywhere else to go. I had ran away from home. I was in Denver. I had no bed. I had an egg crate with a 13-inch RCA TV. And the only thing this is how bored I was, couldn't even afford beer, is I got a library card and I went and took the bus for $0.25 down to the Jefferson County Library, checked out books and came back, and I got Tom Clancy books. So I started reading, and that's all I would do. I'd lay on my couch during my days off and I would just read. And I'd go through a book a day. I was always good at reading, or always read well. Oof, sorry. And I was enamored with Jack Ryan. And I started researching the military. I looked at the United States Marine Corps. My father just recently passed, is a Marine until the rest of his life, and still is. He's always a Marine. And so I decided to go in the Navy because screw my dad, that's why. And I joined the Navy, which would piss him off, and I went into naval intelligence. So that's why. And then ultimately, it was service of country and love of country was always there, but it was very selfish reasons. Is I wanted to have 3 meals, and I was going down a path that I didn't want to go, and I was smart enough to do the thing that would get me out of it, which was joining the military. All right.
And it was how did you overcome everything you've been through?
Just working with people who were better at everything than I was, whether it was working with SEALs or Force Recon or British SAS or Coast Guard, SAR, Search and Rescue, working with some pretty prestigious presidents and VPs and companies, and having sports figures in my life who were considered friends or at least acquaintances, knowing people who are influential now today, is always knowing when I need to shut up and listen and learn something from people. And then just not having a quitter's attitude, just not believing in quitting. Like I will pick up anything. And that comes from my uncle and my cousin Randy, who I love him so much, but we didn't get along when we were younger because my dad would pit us against each other, and everything he did was always better. He could do backflips off a diving board and I couldn't, and all this other stuff. And I finally just was like, if I don't know something, I'm going to go learn it. And whether it's taking apart a VW engine, which I got a book on in the library, or whether it's learning HTML or graphic design or sound editing, video editing, or competitive shooting or firearms instruction or whatever it is, I take it seriously and I don't quit. So, and people don't bother me, right? So if you don't like what I'm doing, I don't care. I have a certain gene where people's negativity and opinions they don't mean anything to me. I'm too arrogant and too stubborn to give a shit about what people think. I can take feedback, and people don't bring me down. They just, I don't know. I just have a tenacity for not giving a shit.
And you got a damn good woman behind you.
Oh yeah, I forgot that part. She's hot. So that's good. All right. Any other questions that we had to wrap up from last night?
That was it.
All right, let's get into it. I've heard good things about SAS. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the British. Not going to lie to you, but British SAS are the exception. There's some Royal Navy guys that are pretty good, and a lot of good rugby players that we played rugby and got our asses destroyed. I would talk all the shit in the world to the Brits, but then we would get on the pitch and I'd just get rocked. So I wouldn't play football in high school because I was scared to get hit, but I played rugby and hockey later. Go figure. Yeah, but I've got good relationships from. I make fun of the Brits just because of, American Revolution and British Empire. I'm not a big fan of, and I've got some Scottish and Irish descent, so I've got some issues with the Brits and the tyrannical rule of the kings and oppression. But yeah, I'm not a big fan. But I do love some of the people. So anyway, that's it. Those are the questions. We got to it. I'm glad we got it. Wait. Somebody said, Thomas, what did they say? Was someone ripping on my reason for joining?
I didn't see. What was it?
I don't know. I want to see. Maybe he was just saying it.
What?
Well, I don't know. He just said, he said he had a good reason to join as any. Well, the Patriot. I'm not going to give you the same answer. Oh, I wanted to serve my country. Bullshit. Everyone joined because a lack of options, or there was a calling to do so. And trust me, I mean, you remember 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
What was the first thing I said?
I want to go back in.
And
But you didn't, because we were not married at the time. And you knew you'd be shipped overseas. And since we're not married, I couldn't
I wouldn't even have passed the physical at that point with my back. There's no way. I was in post-recovery. I was still a mess. There was no way.
And we didn't want to get married for that reason. We weren't ready at that time.
Yeah. So. There was a lot of reasons not to go in. Plus, what was I? How old was I?
I was 27.
That wasn't too bad. I probably could have went in as an officer at that point with the college and with my experience. But understand, I was working for the U.S. government even after she didn't even know.
No. So
I had a GS status for a long time after I got out. So needless to say, we all did things. I wanted to go back in. And I wanted nothing more. And that was a different time, a different place. But you know what? I don't listen to people who say, like, I wanted to join the military, but I didn't, just because, whatever. I don't want to hear that crap. No veteran wants to hear that. All right, let's get to it. So here's the shtick this evening. I didn't hear anyone talk that they wanted to watch the Second Amendment show I just did. Was there anybody? It's like 12, 13 minutes.
I didn't see anyone say that.
All right, so
they'll watch it on their own.
We'll watch it on your own. Go back to the show, give it a watch, and listen, because I truly believe it is the one thing that we have never heard in the debate about guns. We've heard everything. We've heard that it was to stop tyrannical rule. We heard it was to limit the government. We heard it was to protect ourselves, to have a standing army that was on the call, where we wouldn't have to make the investment, since revolution was such a drain on our economy and the United States as a whole, that there were understandings that this very difficult union between the North and the South ultimately would degrade over time, that there was going to be contention amongst the states. All of these things, we understand the reasoning. But the one thing I never heard that frustrated me, and I just had an epiphany as I was walking down my stairs, was the framers designed the Bill of Rights for the people. I can show you 100 quotes from every person involved in framing the Constitution and the laws herein who weren't even in Philadelphia, that weren't involved in Continental Congress, that weren't involved in the ratification and the penning of the Constitution of the United States, or in the Bill of Rights editions in 1790, depending in 1788 and 87, depending, who added to its luster and its girth, I guess is what you would say, the size of it and the scope of it. The one thing that you hear is people talk about the Second Amendment and where a comma should be placed, or the word militia or well-regulated, which I've done too. But what they don't say is that if you look at the articles and you look at all statements made by the framers, it was to limit the size, scope, and power of the government because of the tyrannical rule that was Britain. Now, everyone knows this, but what they don't say is, let's just walk through the other 10 amendments. Every single one of them is designed for the people. It's to limit government power. Every one of them. So all of a sudden, the Second Amendment, the framers said, well, we want less government and we want less power over the people. Let's give them a First Amendment. Let's give them the right to habeas corpus and due process. Let's go ahead and give them the no quartering of troops. Let's give them the ninth with enumerated powers. Let's give the powers back to the states and remove them from the federal government in indecisiveness. Let's do all these things for the people, but let's go ahead and create a standing army or a militia / National Guard to create an oppressive military industrial complex to apply against the people and take all those rights away. Nobody makes that argument. I've never heard that argument. No, never. And that shuts them down. It shuts down the militia conversation. It doesn't matter what it says, well-regulated militia. We know for a fact because of the framing. You're talking about the windows and the drapes and the doors. I'm talking about the foundation of the house. And the foundation says that this is my house. These are my rights. And you all of a sudden want to go ahead and say, because we have a National Guard, that that's what the Founding Fathers meant. That's absolutely not what they meant. Of course, it couldn't be what they mean. Because by the time they got to the First Amendment, which is giving the freedom of voice and the freedom to express yourself, and then the right to defend it in the Second Amendment, they decide to go ahead and sublet that to the National Guard or some fucking militia. Nobody makes that argument. And it's the first time I've ever, tell me, is it the first time you've heard it? Because I have read, listened, and been a part of thousands of debates around the Second Amendment, and I have never heard anyone present it that way. Go watch the video and let me know. I'm interested to find out what your thoughts are, because that's the truth. And you can't dispute that. So the next time a liberal leftist or whatever wants to take guns away and they're talking about, well, the Second Amendment was about the militia and a well-regulated militia, it absolutely destroys that conversation if you just say the following things. Please explain to me why 9 out of the 10 of the Bill of Rights were for the people, and anything that wasn't included was enumerated powers in the 9th, and anything that was dissenting would send back to the states. The first one brings it to the individual, and then the last brings it to the collective powers of the states, which is about the citizen. Why all of a sudden they would contradict all of that by giving a military and government-ran military with the people no right to defend themselves against possible tyranny from that government that they wanted to limit to begin with. Make that point. See what they say. It's been working all day for me. Those people poof. They're like crickets. We have crickets? Crickets. That's what I hear. They don't come back. They're like, well, tell me about the militia and blah, 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 blah. And the whole thing that this is based off is this con article from PBS Frontline, which says that conservatives in 1980 with Orrin Hatch and Ronald Reagan reframed the Second Amendment to be about freedom of citizen. That's such bullshit. That guns were limited more under Reagan than any other time in U.S. history with the Brady Bill. It's one of the most ridiculous notions in the world that Reagan was pro-gun. People need to stop. And this is what the Democrats do. They wait for a generation to get too old to care, and they're gumming their food and they're watching Wheel of Fortune, and then they loose this upon the young people and they eat it up and they absorb it, just like they did the Daughters of the Confederacy, that somehow the Ku Klux Klan was actually good for the South. And it wasn't about slavery. It was about paid labor and free labor. Right. Then that same Daughters of Confederacy was born the KKK and the Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, which was ran by Democrats, which created Jim Crow, the Underground Railroad, and lynching black people. But that was all Republicans, right? And the party of Lincoln is no longer Republicans, it's Democrats. And the Japanese internment camps, you know, the one where this beautiful little post came out from George Takei. I don't know if you guys have seen it. George Takei's seen it. He didn't like it.
Did he ban you?
Not yet. George Takei says, in case it's not yet clear, the problem is the Republicans. And my reply was, weren't you put into a camp by a Democrat? You know, the Japanese internment camps, the Democrats, FDR. No, don't remember those? Jim Crow laws. What about the Dixiecrats, right? Remember the big giant switch that was supposed to happen with the parties that never took place? You want to know why? Because they didn't vote for a Republican for 20 years after the supposed party switch. And then they say, oh, no, it wasn't a switch, which a switch means on and off, right? You turn on the faucet, it comes on. You turn it off, it goes off. Oh, really? It's not drip, 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 flow. It's on and off. It's a party switch. Now it's a party matriculation over generations. Yeah, you know what? The Democrats sell this revision of history. It's not true. I'm not going to blame Democrats for the KKK. I'm not going to blame them for Jim Crow laws. I'm not going to blame them for civil rights. I'm not going to blame them for, well, maybe the modern day slave plantations or the inner city. I'll blame them on that. Sorry, my shake. I've got the hiccups. But what I'm not going to do.
Can you turn down the fan,
I can turn down the fan.
Thank you.
What I'm not going to do is allow them to blame the Republicans for this. Just like they're trying to pin dead children in schools on us right now, when it has nothing to do with me. This gun has never hurt anyone. Every gun I own in my home hasn't hurt a soul. Actually, I did get bit by the slide a couple times. When I was trying a new double tang grip, I got bit. But other than that, it's all self-inflicted, like most gun violence is, or domestic. So do me a favor and please watch this. We'll dive in deeper into this, and I'm open to your comments if you have questions. Do we have any questions or anything? No?
No.
All right, awesome. Then let's get to this. KJP, Kia Jean-Pierre, Karen Jean-Pierre, whatever her farkin', Dayglow. Her new name is Dayglow because that's all she does is wear Dayglow stuff. Here she is. Take a look.
The last presidential campaign, one of the Democratic contenders said that what he would do is come for AR-15s. Does the president support not just banning the sale and manufacture of semi-automatic weapons, but further than that, confiscation?
Let me just be very clear. What we're talking about, AR-15.
Oh, why is it always the same thing with her? Let me be very clear by not being clear. Let me be the clearest person on earth by not being transparent in any way, shape, or form. I mean, seriously. If Donald Trump was the most transparent president in U.S. history, which he was as far as press and giving them access, that guy wasn't afraid of the microphone. He would go, I mean, he did a lot of damage to himself, but he wasn't afraid of the microphone. Joe Biden, his 421 days of vacation so far in his 2 years of presidency, 421. He has been on vacation for a year and almost 2 months out of his presidency. That is pathetic. And they said Donald Trump golfed a lot. Please. Players got to play, you know? Haters gonna hate. Anyway, KJP, Miss The Binder, Miss Dayglow, Miss Historic Records. Why is it always... Let me go ahead and be clear. Whenever anyone says that, they're not lying. Now, I do it once in a while, but I don't bullshit you.
Than that confiscation.
Let me just be very clear. What we're talking about, AR-15s, these assault weapons ban, they are weapons of war, and they...
Oh, no, they're not. No, they're not. A single round 5.56 and a 223 isn't going to get you shiznet against an AK-47 or a Kalashnikov Chinese-made weapon or any of the other standard weapons that are out there in a wartime situation. There is nobody that uses a semi-automatic rifle unless it is a high-caliber round that can punch through an engine block, or non-semi-automatic, which is a bolt-action rifle from 600-700 yards away. Or if you're going through trenches in the middle of Prussia to go ahead and fight the Austrians in the trenches of Gallipoli, going through mustard gas and barbed wire with a trench shotgun. So you would need a freaking time machine to do that. They are not weapons of war. The only difference between this and my AR behind me, fairly simple. Magazine capacity, speed, and shot selection based on range. And honestly, if you put me in a high school against an AR, give me one of these. Give me this. I'll do this in a CQB situation versus an AR. And so would most people who know what they're doing. Give me this in a situation that's in tight quarters against an active shooter. Give me a Glock. Give me my SIG. Give me my HK. I don't need an AR. Don't need it. And most guys will tell you that an AR isn't the right selection in that situation. This handgun is just as powerful at close range as that AR-15, and with a 100-round barrel mag, I can do the same thing. Hell, I can get a 30-round mag for this. It's basically going to be longer than my Johnson, but I can do that. And the only thing then you have to worry about is range and speed. Muzzle velocity. Which this, honestly, depending upon the situation and where you're at and what you're shooting, is a high velocity round doesn't necessarily have as much stopping power as a 40 cal or a 45 or even a 9mm based upon your shot selection, because the bullet moves through at such a fast rate that unless it hits a vital organ, it's in and out, which is antithetical to what you want the bullet to do. You want it to go in, expand, and literally take a freaking melon size out the back. Don't tell me about weapons of war. You don't know what you're talking about. You haven't seen combat. You haven't seen battle. You're a pogue. People other than grunt, according to the Marines. Stop it. An AR-15, just because the M16 was modeled after the Armalite rifle, does not mean it's the same thing. Just like I can tell you that an Audi, just because it's from fucking Germany, doesn't mean it's a Volkswagen. Are we fucking grooving now? You get it? Is the Audi from Germany or is it Austria?
I have no idea.
Just pretend it's from Germany. It's like saying a Mercedes-Benz.
Beamer. I think they're German.
No, Mercedes-Benz. Mercedes-Benz is a Volkswagen. I don't think the Audi's from Germany. Isn't it Austria? Let's find out.
I'm looking. Germany.
Now look at me. I knew it. I knew it.
Look at you.
So here's the rest. Comes down to this. Assault weapon. I've got assault forks, assault knives. I've got some assault salt.
Yeah, we got an assault car out front.
Got some
Two
assault
of them.
pepper. I've got an assault wife.
Yes.
Piss her off. Change the channel in the middle of the hockey game. Watch what happens. Right?
Hey, Christina Lopez. Remember me? You want some shit? Huh? You want some...
Yeah, don't piss off a Latina woman.
Don't piss off a Latina woman who isn't Latina.
Should not be on the streets across the country, in our communities. They should not be in schools. They should not be in grocery stores. They should not be in churches. That's what the...
They aren't. See, the funny thing about guns is she may not be aware of this. Because if men can have vaginas and women can have penises, I can understand why they think that guns walk around. Because maybe they identify as humans, but guns don't magically show up in schools on their own. They don't show up in grocery stores or synagogues or mosques. They don't show up at ball games. They don't show up where children are or adults are or senior citizens are or black people are or Presbyterians or Muslims or Jews or Gentiles. They show up where the criminally insane want to do the most damage in the places that are the softest target. Look at the 3 most recent shootings in Texas. Look at those places that did not have guns in place and look at the ones that did. Look at the people who ran outside with AR-15s and stopped shootings in Texas. I want to tell you something, and I've said it 100 times, and I'm going to say it one more time. Oh, do we have Dr. Oh, we have Kajiji Mukhtar. Oh, Kajiji Mukhtar. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry you contacted HIV in 2018. I dialed that phone number too, and I contacted HIV in 2016. I did. I picked up the phone and I said, "Hi, HIV. Yeah, this is Matt Spear. I was just wondering if we could go out a little bit and we could have a Magic Johnson night."
Where's this? Where?
Oh no, she's here. She's in Facebook.
Where? I'm not seeing this
I was told by
comment.
my doctor that there's no possible cure for HIV. There's not. It's a virus. That no virus is. Listen, I bet you got the jab 17 times too, right? There's not a virus. You know what? Herpes. Talk to me about herpes. That's the one I want to know about, not HIV. Specifically, simplex 10 and genital warts. Sorry, honey. Can you talk? There's not been a cure for any virus on the planet. That's why the common cold. That's why there's cold medicine each year. That's why we're getting the flu shot each year. You know, viruses. Khadiji Mukhtar, I know this has nothing to do with you, and I know you're just a bot, but I say from my America to your country, go fuck yourself. Okay? Somebody ban her, please. Thank you.
I can't find her. I don't know where she's at.
Somebody ban this person right here. Ooh. Oh, look at that AI photo. It looks like Enemy Mine. Does anyone remember that Alien movie? The ones that drank rotten milk for food and they couldn't get near water, seawater, because it would boil their skin? Yeah. Kajiti Mukhtar. Somebody ban her, please. Just want to let you know.
I can't find the comment. Otherwise, I would.
All right. Here we go. Amy, I can't tag you in that. I got too much going on. So here's the rest of KJP.
believes.
Oh, well, that's over. So KJP did not answer the question. And I want you to listen to it one more time because I interrupted. I won't interrupt
The
this.
last presidential campaign, one of the Democratic contenders said that what he would do is come for AR-15s. Does the president support not just banning the sale and manufacture of semi-automatic weapons, but further than that, confiscation?
Specifically, KJP was asked what I've been saying for 2 years, that Joe Biden wants our guns. The Democrats want our guns. We know they do. It's on whitehouse.gov, people. You can go look it up yourself, for God's sake. And they didn't deny it. They didn't deny it. Now, how easy would it have been? Listen, we're not going to confiscate people's guns. We hope it doesn't come to that. We need to have a serious conversation about red flag laws. And even though people don't like them, mental health is extremely important. And Republicans and Democrats believe together that mental health is the number one issue. We know Republicans believe that. We do too. And we've got to address mental health. And we might need to make an exception for this. And yes, giving up a little bit of your liberty, we understand what has been said by our forefathers. We understand what Franklin said. We agree. But darn it, dead kids is unacceptable. Yes. Adults giving up a little.
Sorry.
Adults can protect themselves. They can carry, as long as they're not felons, pass a background check, go through the proper training. Kids can't defend themselves. They've got Pokemon cards and gum. So no, we're not going to confiscate. But what we're going to ask is that we need help. And we know Republicans care. We know you care about kids. And we know you don't like us very much because about abortion. We understand. We don't like you very much with guns and how stubborn you're being. But damn it, this president is going to make meaningful change if it's the last thing he does. And you know what? You know what I would be talking about tonight? I would say, folks, we might want to change our tune just a smidge. We might want to listen because they're actually talking sense. They're not talking that I can have a penis and still have a baby. They're not talking and pontificating and espousing that a stage of life inside the womb is any less important as outside the womb. They're not espousing that there's 67 genders. They're not espousing that $150 billion to Ukraine is a good deal and strengthening our schools and hardening our schools is too expensive. Okay? If they would have said that, then we could have a conversation. But until then, we have her not saying anything about gun confiscation, in fact, not denying it, and leaving it on the table, which is just going to drive the right further away from the table in the conversation. And it's going to make the left harden on their whole entire thing of a Machiavellian scheme to get one semi-automatic weapon ban. Folks, history repeats itself. Have we not heard the saying, what's past is prologue? Do we know what happened in the 81 gun ban? Does anyone know what happened in the Brady bill? It wasn't one gun they took. They took the SKS. They took the M1 carbine. They took the M1 Garand. They took the AK-47 single semi-automatic. They took the AR. They took certain models of 308s. This wasn't just semi-automatic. They took bolt-action rifles too. They went down and they checked off the list. The moment they got one, I'm trying not to cuss. They decimated the ability for Americans to buy weapons to protect themselves. And for all of them to say, oh, crime didn't go up. It didn't go down. It states that has nothing to do with it. They know this. In some cases, crime went up because the access to a gun became more critical and inner city violence went up. So maybe domesticated white people didn't feel it, but the inner cities felt it even more. Out of this, you saw the Tech 9 come out. You saw Chinese weapons be brought into the United States. Certainly American weapons stopped being traded on the open market, but weapons came across the border and came in from China at a crazy rate. You remember the Tech 9? Folks, it's a gun grab. And they're not denying it anymore. And liberals, Democrats, listen to me, my moderate brothers and sisters who used to have common sense. You used to be advocates for the Second Amendment because you damn well knew that that was the only way you were going to protect yourself against a government that didn't like y'all very much when you were hippies. And flowers were only going to work for so long. Every single person knew at that point back then that militant attitudes were essential to making the government do what they wanted to do. That's the only way the United States government understood. Do you think tyranny left the United States ever? Because I remember 1970. I remember 1970 because I watched enough Jethro Tull videos, and I've watched Hendrix, and I've listened to Woodstock, and I've read history. Does anyone remember what they did at Berkeley? What about Pepperdine? Does anyone look at history? If you think we are so star-spangled awesome that we are removed from tyranny by millennia, first of all, we haven't been around that long. And second of all, when was the American Revolution? When was the Civil War? When did suffrage happen? When did civil rights happen? When did the protests against the Vietnam War? What happened with rubber hoses and water cannons and dogs being released against African Americans? What about the persecution of homosexuals? And what about today, going after Christians and conservatives? Do you really believe that we are that far removed from tyranny that we could not go there again? Kent State, thank you. That name escaped me. Absolutely, Kent State. Thank you very much. A lot of people think that the hippie movement was flowers and peace, love, dope. It was, but it became militant. Black Panthers had a lot to do with that. And you know what? When we look in retrospect on the Vietnam War, it was a piece of shit war. And that war was about money. And they did our soldiers wrong. We still haven't welcomed them home properly. We didn't go ahead and take the gloves off. We put them in handcuffs. We created an imaginary line and we played politics. We were embarrassed by what we did in World War II by dropping the bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and we wanted to treat war with kid gloves and somehow treat it with humanity, and unfortunately, that ain't war. It's time that we stop bickering amongst each other, and the Second Amendment is what gives us our freedom. You may not like that, and that may scare you, and I understand you're scared, and I understand you don't like it, but you have an option. But taking away guns from law-abiding citizens is not the answer. All you're going to do is create more crime. All you're going to do is create more crime. 500,000 crimes that can end up in homicide, rape, high-level felonies are prevented each year by personal ownership of firearms. 1.5 million are non-life-threatening crimes. Car stereos being robbed, a spouse threatening you, scaring somebody who's breaking in by racking a shotgun, things like that. Don't believe my statistics? Then go look at the FBI, because Democrats will tell you, oh, it's a fraction of that number. It's only 1 million. I understand that there's tens of thousands of people who die a year by handguns predominantly, not an AR-15, not a long-barreled rifle. Most mass shootings are perpetrated with handguns anyway. And if you look at the number where they said there's been 5,000 mass shootings since 2010, it's a lie. Because what a mass shooting is, and everyone knows, is somebody intentionally going into a school, like she said, a school, a church, a synagogue, a grocery store, and shooting people. That's what she just described a mass shooting as. So let's use that statistic. And that statistic is not freaking hundreds a year. They've said there's been 700 this year. What they're including is 3 to 4 people shot. And that happens 25 times a weekend in Chicago by gangland shootings and drive-bys. Those are considered mass shootings. And instead of the Democrats owning that and understanding that they contribute to over 87% of the homicides in the United States based upon the cities that they live in and the crime that they allowed rampant out of the top 50 cities, and 37 of them are ran by Democrats, that they own most of the homicide. Now let's go ahead and talk about suicide, which is a larger number than crime anyway, and accidental shootings. Those are the things that need to be addressed. Clean up your cities, number one. Help us reinforce these schools and protect our children. And if you would just give an iota, I think you would see Republicans be acquiesced to your request. Give us an inch, reinforce the schools. Make single entry points. Have veterans like myself and others who are trained to do this and have them serve. Give them a tax credit to donate 2 hours a week out of their schedule, and you'll have 100 veterans for every school across America tomorrow. Announce it nationally. We're going to run background checks and NCIC checks. You're going to have to go through a basic firearms course to be prolific at a sidearm and a long rifle. You're going to have to put 30 rounds downrange to go ahead and eject mag, reload on the fire, also clear a jam in this period of time. You're going to have to shoot from 3 positions. You're going to have to shoot behind cover and run them through the basic drills, certify them, give them a psychological background check, and give them a weapon and let them stand at post and do what they did to protect us across the country. And it was okay for them to do it overseas. Why is it not okay for them to do it on the home soil?
Look what defunding the police did.
Right.
They thought that was going to work and that was going to stop crime.
It doesn't stop crime.
No, it makes it worse.
Taking away a good guy with a gun only empowers the bad guy with the gun. And you know what's funny? All these, it's not funny. None of this is funny. It's all tragic. It's sad. Look at these mass shootings. At the end of all of them, what's the only thing that stops them? It's always a gun. Either the cops shoot the person and kill them, shoot the person and wound them, or they shoot themselves. All acceptable and completely okay with me. But it's always a gun that ends it in every one of the situations. Or it's the gun's fault that it ends because they don't know how to stop a jam or do a reload, and some amazing civilian who's unarmed and has a fucking pencil, because it's a gun-free zone, has to go up against an AR-15 or a Glock because liberals don't want to go ahead and allow people to have guns. We can lop their penises off and give them special medicine to go ahead and neuter them, but we can't give them a gun. Enough. You know what? And I'm challenging all of, I'm reading your comments. I read you on Twitter. I read on Facebook. And I'm listening to your arguments. Stop arguing with these people and dismantle their talking points. I don't argue with anyone anymore. I just destroy their talking points. I refuse to allow them to say them. And when they're right, I give them credit and I invite them onto the show. I had 2 liberals send me private messages and say, hey, you know what? I thought you were pretty funny in some of your responses. Can I watch your show? And I'm like, of course you can watch my show. In fact, I do the show for you too. There is a donkey and a elephant in my symbol for a reason. Because I don't believe Democrats are the problem. I don't believe liberals are the problem. I think moderate Democrats are essential to our republic. What I have a problem with is the media and leftists. Those are the ones that I take issue with. Stop freaking arguing with liberals. Start arguing the point. They believe that they are smarter and superior to you, and there might have been a time that was true. Unfortunately, that was true. The Democratic Party was predominantly better educated than the rural American states. Not anymore. The South has moved forward. It's moved on from its racial ways because of Republican leadership, by the way. We are an educated people. Colleges were accessible for most of our generation, and most of us went. For them to tout that they are the most educated elite, they're not. They're actually the most naive because they believe in the indoctrination that they've been taught, which is bullshit, which is revisionist history. It's progressive BS. You know the facts. You know history. You were brought up with it. You had a mom and dad who taught you these things, who taught you values, who taught you to speak when you were spoken to say yes, sir, yes, ma'am, to take your damn hat off at the table. When a lady enters the room, you stand up and rise. You put your hand over your heart no matter where you're at, and you pledge allegiance to the flag and you stand for the national anthem. You always respect soldiers, and you always respect the elderly. And in between all of those other things, it created principle, and it created curiosity. You're intelligent, smart people. Stop letting them treat you like a bunch of hay-eating, Bible-thumping morons, because you're not that. You have your faith, you have your family, you have your beliefs, and it's time for us to stop acting like they say we are. Enough of January 6th. Enough of the stolen election. Let's talk facts. Let's talk about inflation. Let's talk about the border. Let's talk about fentanyl. Let's talk about 67 Jenners. Let's talk about giving children medicine to transition when we can't even give them a car. Let's talk about how we haven't banned anything. It's a lie. The Democrats banned To Kill a Mockingbird in California. Do you guys know that? It wasn't us. But the banning is a lie. All they did was take it out of school libraries. You can still buy To Kill a Mockingbird on Amazon. You can buy it at a Barnes & Noble if there are any left. You can go to a used bookstore and get it. It's not banned. And if you want to watch a 36-year-old Mexican gardener rape a 7-year-old boy in the books that you consider to be sexual education, you can do that. Just not at my schools. Not where my kids go to school. Because that's my right as a parent. Your right to teach my children is elective based upon me sending them. Because at any time I can yank my kids out of school and I can educate them a smite better than any of you. We give you the luxury of having a job. If every single Republican pulled their kids out and collectively in their neighborhoods grouped up and started teaching their kids together, the public school system would go belly up. Would go belly up. And when that would happen, every single one of these progressive teachers would be fired and replaced, period. Because they don't care about their teachers. They only care about the students that they get paid for by the government in public schools to be in the seat and pass the test so they get their check. So they can get their 9 snow days a frickin' quarter.
15.
Whatever. I'm sick and tired of it. Sorry, Olivia, I went off on a tangent. What else did I miss?
Amy accidentally pinned something that messed up chat, so it's been trying to fix that, and that's about it.
Okay, well, I got to turn on the fan. I'm hot.
It's fine.
Here's Joe Biden again. We all saw Ice Cream Joe the other night. We remember what he said. We remember what he did. Here it is.
White House.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding? Ready? I'm not. God. Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin. Folks,
Mike's off,
I'd
Joe.
like to have you all here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? They're your kids, all 4 of them? Well, stand up.
You know what they say about you, Joe Sniffer in Chief? They oh, look at those beautiful children. Look at the, can you have them stand? Can you have her spin around? How about him? What is wrong with this guy?
Did he say Chinese ice cream?
He said, I don't know.
With all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey.
And why is that so?
Because not a single thing he said is accurate.
I don't know what he said. I have a hard time understanding him because he blah, 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 blah.
I've seen that clip several times, and the first time I thought he said Chinese ice cream, and now it's more clear. I swear to God, he says, I have some Chinese ice cream upstairs.
I think he said talk to him.
I try, rewind it and listen to it again.
All right.
Says Congress, Ben Cardin.
We were in the White House.
Refrigerator full upstairs. I think I'm kidding. Chip ice cream. Chip. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip.
I swear it says Chinese ice cream
I
too.
eat Chinese ice cream, chocolate chip.
Hold on.
And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip.
Is it Jerry's? Maybe he says Jerry's. Let's make sure. Hold on.
I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was...
He doesn't say chocolate. He doesn't say... Someone said chocolate chip ice. That's not what he says. I swear it says Chinese ice cream. She's right.
And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip.
It's like Jenny's ice cream is what he said.
Unless he's trying to say Jilly's.
Look up Jenny's. Jilly's. Okay, Jilly's. So he's talking about Jill
But
Biden.
he probably mixed him up with her sister again.
He doesn't matter.
So.
He doesn't know who the hell he's married to. He doesn't know. Ginny's ice cream. Jilly's. Who cares? He's an idiot.
It's such a disgrace. He's supposed to be talking about the shooting yesterday, and he comes out talking about making jokes and talking about ice cream.
I don't care how good that ice cream is. Listen to today.
It's disgusting that he's doing this. He's our president.
Listen to this crap. Do you believe Christians were targeted at Nashville shootings?
I have no idea. Josh Hawley believes they were.
So then they say Josh Hawley, who is a outspoken Republican who does not like Joe Biden, who is a little bit of a showboat sometimes, but whatever. And this is his response.
Well, I probably don't then.
I probably don't then. So what he just said was, I don't agree with Republicans ever. Wasn't this supposed to be like the guy that reaches across the aisle? Wasn't this supposed to be the great negotiator? The guy that was going to bridge the gap? I can reach across the aisle. I did it with Tip O'Neill. I did it with Ronald Reagan. I did it with Newt Gingrich. I'll reach across the aisle. And I'm going to bring this party together. This guy has he was never a socialist. This guy was always a moderate. He is progressive as all hell. He has drunk the Nancy Pelosi, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie frickin' Sanders, AOC, Rashid Tlaib, Ilhan Omar's cocktail. And
Becky, do you have that clip? She said she saw him on a hot mic being directed by an aide. Wondering if you have that clip you can send to us.
Yeah, send it to me. I'll watch it.
I would love to see it.
The Great Uniter.
If it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, we're going to get a lot done.
Nice to see 100 and some odd 80 people on Facebook. We're at 152. Where are we at on Rumble?
23, but we were up to like 41 earlier.
Nice to see so many people on. Donald Trump needs to get his shit together, and he needs to get his shit together quick, and he needs to start running for president. He needs to stop running for the Miss America contest, and he needs to run.
Even though he owned it.
He needs to run for president. He needs to stop talking about himself, the stolen election, January 6th, the indictment, and he needs to talk about Joe Biden and what he is specifically going to do to bring our country back. He needs to be able to sell his story and talk about what he did from 2016 to 2019, mid-half of the year before it all went to shit. He needs to get off the vaccine trope. He needs to get off Ron DeSantis' nuts and stop swinging from them. And he needs to make a case why America should trust him, because they don't. And I'm not talking about the Republicans. My God, we know he's going to get the base vote. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about the base. There's not enough of us to win unless every Christian evangelical gets off their ass and votes. Unless every gun owner gets off their ass and votes. And anybody that listens to the stations above 100.3 all the way to 107.9, those people need to get up off their ass, because there's the country music. And if you got a Bible in your hand and you got a gun in the other and you got a bun in the oven, you might be a redneck.
All right, somebody just posted the clip in the chat.
You have to carbon it. You have to carbon copy it.
Okay, and then text it to you?
Yeah. We can't click on links in chat.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I can. I found a way.
Okay, good.
I have skills. Okay, I got to watch this. Now, this is like dimensions for the Playman of the Month. I'm not going to be happy. Well, I'm going to be happy, but...
Just don't put it on your screen just yet.
Down here?
Yes, sir. Ramp.
Down here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Benny posts stuff that's not always on the up and up. So I'm going to give you my immediate analysis of this video, and I'm good at this. You know I'm good at this. But I'm not going to play it off Benny's page. I'm going to download it directly. I'm going to put it through my software because that'll tell me a lot.
Down here?
Yes, sir. Down the ramp.
This is how this, folks, you're talking about world-class skill. I am cutting, editing, and processing this video live. All right, it's done.
You are awesome.
Tell me again how good I am.
You are absolutely amazing.
Down here?
Yes, sir. Down the ramp. And we have people lined up on the left over here. Some union leaders and workers.
Hey, guys and ladies.
Your mark is going to be the blue one to the left.
How y'all doing?
You've got a blue mark, and that's okay.
I'll stand my blue mark, and then I'm going to say load each one of you.
Yes, sir. I'll help you get started.
Okay. Do you guys want to see that again? All right, here you go.
Down here?
Yes, sir. Down the ramp. And we have people lined up on the left over here. Some union leaders and workers.
Hey, guys and ladies.
Your mark is going to be the blue one to the left.
How y'all doing?
You've got a blue mark, and that's okay.
I'll stand my blue mark, and then I'm going to say load each one of you.
Yes, sir. I'll help you get started.
The fact that he has to be told where he's going, what color of a mark he needs to stand on, that's, like I said from the beginning, I think he's got early onset dementia.
So there's a couple things. Now, I've done a lot of meet and greets, and I've done a lot of walks, whether it was for command inspections. I was starboard watch leader. I was honor man in boot camp. So whenever we would have lieutenants come in, LTs, captain, to do inspection, I would always present them. Whenever presidents or vice presidents would visit my market, because our markets were so shit hot, I would always tour them. And I would do the same thing. That's what an aide de camp does for a general. That's what a body man does for the president of the United States. There's somebody who's behind the scenes. Usually it's an intern, very, very young, college campus, etc. And they're body mans for the president. They get his dry cleaning. They make sure he's fed. They make sure he goes to his appointments on time outside of his secretary. They travel with the president 24/7. And that person is fulfilling a body man role. And that's communicating the marks to the president, so the president doesn't look like a dipshit on TV. I don't have a problem with what just took place. I do have a problem with his stumbling, and he almost fell twice. So I can understand what that man's job is. And as a host, whether it be a governor or city council or state representative, they're doing that to the president all the time. I'm just telling you all, these guys, the president lives his life 15 minutes at a time. And his calendar is all 15-minute bookings, just all day long, from 9 o'clock in the morning with Joe Biden till about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. But either way, the president is constantly going. It's impossible for the president to encapsulate that much information, even on a good day. Even Donald Trump made mistakes with where he was at times. And because he traveled so damn much. It was rare, but he did it. Joe Biden does all the time. And I'm not saying he doesn't have dementia. I'm not saying he's not completely freaking a dipshit. He is. But what I'm saying is I'm going to defend him when he deserves to be defended. And that's just SOP. It's standard operating procedure for a visit with a high profile figure, especially the president. And this guy's nervous, you can tell, but watch his stumbling here.
Down here?
Yes, sir. Down the ramp. And we have people lined up on the left over here. Some union leaders and workers.
Hey, guys and ladies.
Your mark is going to be the blue one to the left.
How y'all doing?
You've got a blue mark, and that's okay.
I'll stand my blue mark, and then I'm going to say load each one of you.
Yes, sir. I'm willing.
Right there. Stumble right there. You guys see that? Right there. There's a hitch in his step. And he goose steps right here. So watch it. Watch it right here.
I'll stand my blue mark.
He does it right there. He does it twice. That's what I noticed. Is right here. Watch his nose. That's a really good way to see it. How far he dips down compared to the other times that he's walking. So let's watch it.
That's okay.
I'll stand my blue mark.
Right there.
And I'm going to say load each one of you.
Yes, sir. I'm willing.
Right there.
I'll help you get started.
That bothers me more than anything because he's not ambulatory, right? I mean, he's stumbling all over the place. But that video, and I want to apologize to Benny Johnson, and he's not going to watch this show, so it really doesn't fucking matter. But I wasn't trying to knock on him, but Benny does, kind of post some things sometimes, and I'm kind of like, dude, and this is legitimate. I mean, if his argument is the president has to be told where to stand, what to say, this is pretty normal. It's pretty normal. And the reason why is because the president doesn't know who those people are. He doesn't know their names. So it's like, this is the Department of Agriculture. This is Secretary of Treasury. And now if they were doing that and he's going to a heads of state dinner and he's like, this is your aide de camp. This is your chief of staff. These are the joint chiefs. And then you're like, oh shit, this guy's 3 sheets to the wind or in comatose land. But if you're visiting in Nashville or anywhere else and you haven't been there, I would expect you to have a handler, someone to walk you to and from. But the goose stepping bothers me. Like
he was very stiff when he was walking.
He seems like he falls a lot. He seems like he's tender and he's not doing well. And his attitudes, I'll just be honest, from somebody who's taken a lot of opiates, and I don't have any proof of this. He seems to be on pain medication of some sort. Demerol, something like that, because he's got that loopy, he's got that dry mouth when he talks, and it's always nom, 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 nom. He's not right, man. So, I mean, what do you want? That's what I think. That's all. All right. Yeah, his gait is completely different. And see, Tina's a cop, and that's what my mindset is. Tina's a cop. She looks at his gait because the gait tells you so much. It can tell you whether he's intoxicated, whether he's injured, whether he's hiding, whether he has a gun on his hip. I mean, that's what I look at. I mean, operational security, situational awareness, that's what I look for. Tina's a cop, so she does the same thing. So his gait tells a huge story to me, is that if I saw him out and about, I would say this is a senior citizen that may need some assistance, that may need someone to approach him and ask him, what his address is, and does he remember what his dog's name is and stuff like that. That's just my gut. Anyway, all right. Have y'all talked about the Fetterman doppelganger? No, because I've seen what a stroke does to somebody.
So have I.
Tell him. What do you think?
Well, I don't think I've seen it.
Your grandpa?
Let's talk about the Fetterman picture. Yeah, no, my grandfather had 2 major
right. Well, tell him what happened.
Strokes. Well, he had one, I think it was in 99, and that put him in a wheelchair and slurred speech. I only visited him a couple of times, but he had one in 2004. And this one, he lived for another 18 months, but they thought he was going to go right away. But I mean, this one, he could barely talk. He was in a wheelchair. They had to take him to the bathroom. I mean, he couldn't do anything himself.
This is the photo that sold it for me. And people were like, oh, he's got a doppelganger and it's not the same one. And they're trying to pawn it off. And this is the one that sold it for me, because you can see the amount of weight that he's lost. And when I'm looking at the picture on the left and to the right, the one on the left looks very much like the one on the left, and the one on the right, it looks a little bit, but there's definitely some differences.
The one on the left that has a more round head. The one on the right's more oval shape.
Yeah.
And a stroke doesn't do that too. Doesn't change the shape of your head.
No, but I want you to look at him where he is on the left right here sitting. That's more oval shape.
It is.
But then look over on the right, it's more oval. So it's also the angle of the shot.
Yeah.
So this one, he's being shot slightly above. Here, let me get listen, folks, I did this with a Lee Harvey Oswald photo a lot when I was growing up. And I'm not trying to shoot full of holes. I'm just giving you my perspective.
So what's this?
But look at the one the one on the left in the gray shirt, the shot of the angle is coming like this.
Uh-huh.
And the one here, it's coming up
from
above, and it's coming up under, God darn it. It's coming up underneath. Let me turn off my rotation on my camera. Hold on. So it's coming up underneath. So these shots are very similar to all the way to the left. If we look at this one right here and this one right here, very similar from the angle. This one over here is a little bit higher. And then this one to this one, same thing, shooting from underneath. And they look synonymous to each other. And he looks different. The guy's got a funny fucking head, folks. I don't know what to tell you.
So what's the story behind
They're
this whole
saying that
thing?
that's a fake. The one on the right's a fake. And they're saying that, you know, he has a doppelganger out there and he's dead or he's incapacitated. They've watched too much Dave.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying our listeners, but a lot of people.
I mean, it depends on the stroke. I know people who've had strokes and been completely fine. But
ears don't stick out further after a stroke, but they do go in after weight loss. Just letting you know, he's dropped like 40, 50 pounds. And elasticity, I can show you pictures of me when I was 260. And I can show you pictures now at 225. And my ears look very different because you literally get fat head. And that guy had fat head. Do you remember? I mean, in the back of his neck and literally fat head. I mean, and there was a roll There was a roll this big on the back of his neck. And I'm just saying, I mean, that can push out your ears, right? I mean, theoretically, this guy's lost like 40, 50 pounds. You lose neck weight, body weight, chin weight, face weight. He looks sick. If I showed you pictures of me at 260 and showed you pictures of that, you'd be like, that's not the same person. Liv?
Oh, no.
No, it's not the same. Matt's not the same person. There's no way that's you. No. And I'm just giving you my opinion. Okay, so okay, here's the thing. So what are you saying? He's dead and they got a lookalike to sit in for him? Is that what you're saying? He's in a coma and they got a lookalike? Why? What's the benefit? Do you understand that if Fetterman is incapacitated, that the Democrats just put a new person in place and they'll have a runoff vote and more than likely be his wife? You guys understand that that's happened like 150 times throughout history? What's the benefit? Do you think that he's that much of a golden child? This is the guy that none of us thought could win. Why would they want to keep him? Let's not look at the difference and go, oh my God, let's look at the why. Why? If he's incapacitated, who gives a shit? Now you can put whoever you want in there. And you didn't have to force some guy like Fetterman who was already running. And then you got Dr. Oz and they didn't care. They didn't think he stood a chance in hell and he won. Okay, so if he's incapacitated, why don't you just relieve him of being the senator? It's happened plenty of times before. You put his wife in. She can stand in and she can apply to the DNC and the DNC would vote on it and the Senate would pass. It's that easy. It's happened plenty of times before. People die in office all the time. People get incapacitated in office. Hell, we saw it with the guy who was from Saturday Night Live and was removed. He had a stand in. McCain had a stand in. It happens all the time. I'm not fighting you. I'm asking you why. Somebody give me the why. I've seen what strokes do to people. My dad had 3 of them. My grandfather had 3 of them too. And I saw what my grandfather looked like. He didn't look anything alike. When I have mine, which I fucking will, because it's in my family, I won't look the same. Your face droops. You lose a ton of weight. He's been depressed. Listen, I'm not a big fan of Fetterman, but why do we hate him so much?
Because he defeated Trump's guy. That's about it.
Why do we hate Fetterman so much? He made a funny little ode to a Coke commercial that I thought was okay. He's a douche. I hate his politics, but is there a reason why we dislike this guy so much? Why do we give a shit?
I don't know. Well, I mean, he has lost a lot of weight, and since he's bald, his head looks round because he's got all that fat. When you lose that weight, the fat comes off.
Look at my pictures. I mean, I don't know if I have them here.
I'm looking.
Right? No, I got them. I'm sure. I'll find them. Whoop, that's porn. Sorry, folks. We don't want to see those. Well, I'm sure, maybe. So, I mean, listen, you guys know me. I've got no problem calling people out. I've got no problem calling people out. And I got no problem saying, you know what, that's BS. And I take some issue. You know, I did that with the MiG and the drone, you know? But I don't know. I don't know. Liv, what do you think? I got one more video to show,
I
too.
think it's the same person. I don't think it's a lizard person, as somebody so eloquently said.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find an old one real quick. I mean, this doesn't matter. You know? But people have seen the photos before. I mean, it's not like you can't go on my Facebook page and find out yourself. I don't look the same.
No.
Hell, I don't look the same from when I first started the show to now. And some people are like, oh, well, your face is more round. Well, that's because my camera used to be up here and it was back 5 more feet. And I've got cheeks, man. I've always had these little puffy cheeks. Oh, and I've got a beard. It's thicker. But honestly, pretty much the same weight. I've put on a little more muscle mass, but people look different under different situations. Different, like, I don't know, guys. Like different angles, different pictures, stroke, loss of weight, loss of appetite, depression. I would put all of that ahead of a clone and a doppelganger. You know what I mean? I think we need, who gives a shit? Even if it is, it's not a seat that we can take back until it's up for re-election. It doesn't matter. Who cares? Let's focus on 2024. Let's focus on the gun grab. Let's focus on fentanyl. Let's focus on our border. Let's focus on Ukraine. Let's focus on China. Let's focus on Taiwan. Let's focus on inflation. Let's focus on when we can't find any chickens. Let's focus on the things that are important. Fetterman's not important. Who gives a shit? It's Pennsylvania. It's a shithole.
The cost of eggs are going down. I only spent $4 for 18 when it used to be 8.
18 eggs. All right. I want to show you guys this. This was you guys heard about the trans activists, and we're getting off because Minnesota Wild are playing the Colorado Avalanche. We're playing for number 1 in the Central.
And we got to go to bed early.
Well, I don't know about that, but we got to play. We're playing number 1.
I'm going to bed early.
Number 1 in the Central. Doesn't matter. We don't know about that. It depends. All right. So here's this video, and this is from a trans activist. And pardon the language, but there has been several citizen journalists, Andy NGO, or Andy Go, the N silent, and a few others that have been talking about this call for armed trans people to show up to Nashville, Tennessee. And all of it says is no more talk and it's time for action. And there's some serious shit. He's been banned for putting that out there as fake. And I don't know, because I don't have any tie-ins to these groups. And I don't know if it's real or not. So I'm not going to put up a disclaimer. I'm just going to say, I'm just going to share with you something that I do know that's true. It's this video, and it's not my words. It's there. So I'm going to comment on it. Here it is.
Trans people in Tennessee, it's time to fucking fight. Trans allies in Tennessee, it's time to fucking fight. Trans women, if they lock you up for identifying as a woman, fight, resist.
Okay, nobody's locking people up for identifying as women. There hasn't been a single case of someone going to jail that I've heard of in the last 2 decades in regards to someone just being sent to jail because they're trans. I don't know what they're talking about. And when you say fight, if I'm not mistaken, that means insurrection, right? Because Donald Trump said the word fight, so that meant insurrection. Is that what the?
I would agree.
What the?
Trans people in Tennessee, it's time to fucking fight. Trans allies in Tennessee, it's time to fucking fight. Trans women, if they lock you up for identifying as a woman, fight, resist. You're gonna die anyways. We're going to die anyways. It's time to fucking resist. Fight them. Hurt them. If they put their hands on you, beat them. We are at an attack. It's time to fight back. Do you hear me? Trans people in Tennessee, trans men, trans women, non-binary, fight! If they try to arrest you or have you arrested on a felony for existing, beat them, team up, gang together, get people who agree with you to come and fight. Carry a weapon at all times. And yes, you have to attack the police officer. Allegedly. But
that's not the way the word works.
I was just thinking that.
I am going to rape that person and take all their money and eat an ice cream cone. Allegedly. You can say that. You have to go ahead and hurt somebody. Allegedly is not how it works. You can go ahead and make an accusation in a third person and say allegedly, but what you can't do is go ahead and give first person instruction and then say allegedly, you sanctimonious douche plow.
It's time. It's time. If they're going to try to jail and police you for existing, you fight them. You fight them. And if they lock you in prison, fuck up the guards. Bust out of prison.
This is somebody who's done a little bit of prison time, I'm assuming. And can I ask a question? Does she literally have a doorknob on a stick that's attached to a broom made out of duct tape?
Gandalf.
Thou shalt not pass.
Yep.
Cracker.
Jump in with other trans people. It's time we organize a prison bust in Tennessee, guys. It's time we organize a prison bust. It's time we start fighting. It's time. If they put their hands on you, fight them. Trans people, fight them. We will not let them create a genocide of trans people. I am so tired. I was in a live the other day with 2 trans people who denied this. Out of my way. I disown any trans person who disagrees with this notion. You are not allowed at the fucking table. It's time to fucking fight. Trans genocide's around the corner. Stop debating cis people in your existence. I do not debate. My existence is not a
I'll masturbate with a curtain rod.
Conversation. We fucking fight now, or we die. And we're not gonna die debating cis people. They're gonna have the last word. They're joining your life to call you a man. They're joining your life to call you a woman. They're joining your life to misgender you, to get the right pronouns, to tell you that you're not existent. They're fucking with you and you're an idiot. Stop. You're gonna kill us all. Join together and start organizing a rally for resistance, not for talk. They're fucking with you. You're being gaslit. You think you're going to have a conversation and make progress. We don't have time to make progress. We have time to fight. God, all of you, I'm disappointed.
I'm just wondering, if you're fighting and you're not going to achieve progress, then what's the point of fighting? Just wondering. Just question from the cis person over here, that if we don't have time for progress, but we have time to fight, then why fight? Why not just not do anything? Because you don't have the time for either.
Who's calling for genocide of trans people?
Nobody.
Fight!
Fight.
Stop!
Fight.
Stand up,
Wait,
sit down,
Charles, just
fight,
shit. I'm
fight,
just
fight.
like, fight. Okay, I'm ready to fight. Stop. Okay, I don't want to fight anymore. Fight. No, stop, fight. Holy shit. I put my left foot in. I put my left foot out. I stick my dick around. Oh, wait, I don't have a dick anymore because I'm a man, but I'm a woman. What is going on? Mixed signals, lady. I don't know what you want from me. I want stop, go. I don't know what to do.
So I'll tell you something. If a police officer put his hands on me for trying to be who I am, I don't care if I got shot. I'm taking a couple of transphobes with me. And I suggest you do the same. The time for debate is over. It's a waste of time.
Fight. Stop. TikTok, ladies and gentlemen. I get banned for, this is what I got banned for. I release stats on trans issues, drug use, sexual assault, rape, abuse, workplace violence, suicide. And I listed them and said, not only do we need to help the trans community find a way to not just be outliers, but literally all other demographics added together don't equal the suicide rate, drug use, rape, incest, pedophilia. I mean, it's horrible what is happening to trans people.
Maxine Waters lost some weight.
So, really? Who cares? What are we talking about Maxine Waters for?
Because I was trying to make a joke because she's inciting violence. I was saying Maxine Waters lost a little bit of weight.
See, now that was funny. And if you would have added to it, and I would have gotten it. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing talking about Maxine Waters?
Because Maxine Waters,
what are you doing?
Is a douchebag that incites violence.
I know, but I get it now. I'm like, why the hell are you talking about? No. It was actually timing. No. It's wrong. I was wrong. You were right. It was funny. It was funnier than what I was talking about. You win. Give yourself an applause real quick.
I'm going.
I'm slow. Like, I can't wait to. You know what? We're gonna cut that video, and I'm gonna make a short out of that. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing bringing up Maxine Waters? All right, that was fun. That was funny. Maxine Waters lost some weight. That was good. Okay, so I think I've got a Maxine Waters one. You got that, Master Bot, and you go ahead, you get in their face on. And you do that thing. Is that Maxine Waters?
Yeah, I don't have any Maxine
I'm
Waters.
embarrassed. You crushed it. That was funny. That was so good. I should have just let you go and been like, later, been like, what the hell are you talking about? Maxine Waters, whatever. I just, listen, I don't understand. TikTok banned me for putting out stats that was from the Gay Lesbian Psychological Association and whatever, who ran specific interviews with trans people, and they banned me for it. And I didn't say anything negative. It was actually advocating to help. But more importantly, why were we bringing our children into this world? And I don't even think trans people would want that to happen and say, let's hold off. Let's not let kids make these weighty decisions that could possibly hurt and destroy the development of kids. Just like I don't want my kids in a new, like we don't talk about our kids. You have to marry a man and have kids and have 14 children. We don't do that.
I just want you to be happy. All I say is give me grandkids. I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. But
well, if I'm not mistaken, there's only one choice for that.
Well, no, they can adopt.
Oh, okay.
Well, Ethan needs to have a boy.
They could adopt in the United States. Yeah, we'll be dead and gone. They'll get a Chinese baby in like 2046.
Ethan needs to have a boy.
Yeah, so our name continues. But folks, that's I can't even say what it is because I'm afraid I'll be banned. There's nothing stable about that situation in any way, shape, or form. That is completely 100% the color of the bat shit in her cave is a particular shade of crazy. And I don't care, man, woman, or child. If you're calling for violence about something that's not happening, now, if she wants to talk about discrimination in the workplace, how people are marginalizing transgender people and lumping them all together, kind of like they lumped all of us as insurrectionists. Listen, I know transgender people. I know people who are drag queens, and they don't want to talk to your kids. There's a lot of people who just, they do it because it's what they want to do. And you know what? I don't care. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you want to sleep with a Volkswagen. Fucking grooving. I don't care. Just keep it away from my kids. And there's a lot of trans people that have no desire to talk to your kids. They don't give a shit. They think this is stupid. You heard what she said. He, whatever. I don't give a shit. She called and said, hey, trans people, stop being civil. There are a lot of trans people out there who don't want this stuff. They don't want these books in schools. Every demographic has a little bit of nuts in it, more nuts than usual. Democrats have it. Republicans have it. Middle of the road have it. Old people, young people, every demographic, every color, race. It has nothing to do with anything exterior or interior besides the brain. That's it. So I understand that everyone thinks that transgenders are taking over the world. Folks, they're 0.7% of the population, okay? They're one of the smallest demographics on the planet. I think 80-year-old tuba players who curl are a larger demographic than trans people, okay? I don't like the stuff that I've seen. I don't like them, normalizing it or telling our children that they can make that decision. As long as that stuff stays out of schools and they're not telling my children that, because I don't want them talking about the nuclear family either. I don't want them talking about lesbians and gays. I want them to go to school and learn STEM. I'll take care of the birds and the bees. You shut the fuck up and teach them math and science and reading and arithmetic. I said math and arithmetic twice. We need to learn a lot of math. We're really behind in math in the United States, so teach it twice. But you get my point. And so we need to stop the transphobic bullshit, right? If you want to be trans, great. If you want to be a man, great. If you want to be a woman, great. And I'll call you she, and I'll call you by your first name. But if you expect me to embrace your bullshit and go any further down the rabbit hole than that, I'm not going to fucking do it. I'm not going to endorse your delusion. But I will treat you with respect because that's the way my parents raised me. But I'm going to treat you like everyone else. It's just like feminists. Feminists hate me. I get that more than anything. Matt's a misogynist. Why? Because I look at my wife and go, what the fuck are you talking about? In the middle of a show. Because she'll look at me and go, what the fuck are you talking about? That's okay for her to do it to me, but I can't do it to her because she's a woman. Fuck that. She fights hard and dirty. She fights hard, and we have an equal relation.
Here's a knife. Do something with the knife.
Here's the knife. Do something with the knife. We got to do that. We love passionately and we fight passionately. But feminists that come on and go, oh, how dare you? I'm a girl. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? You can't do that. When I treat women equally, they get pissed. I talk to Leroy the same way. I talk to Amy the same way. I talk to Olivia. I talk to my viewers. I talk to everybody the same way. If I think you're doing something stupid, I call you out. And then if I'm wrong, I apologize, like I just did. Whoops. Sorry, honey. I'm an idiot. I think this whole, we tend to get, I'm going to end it on one thing. For all my listeners, please listen to me here. Please listen. In 2014, I want you to look internally. Look, see this shirt? I'm trying to wear it because I'm trying to be a better person. Okay? I'm trying to find God again. So I'm gonna try to ask you to do something to the Christians out there and listen to what I'm about to say. In 2014, be honest. Don't lie. Raise your hand. I won't be able to see it. Or type in
the raise hand emoji in chat.
Type in the raise hand emoji. Here it is. In 2014, were you fearful that Sharia law was coming to the United States?
No.
I'm not talking to you.
Oh, okay.
Now, what the hell are you doing? See, I can do what the shut up. Let them figure it out. No, I'm kidding. So Sharia law, 2014. Who thought Muslims were coming here to take over America? Who thought Barack Obama was a Muslim terrorist? How many people? Raise your hand if I'm okay. We're going to be right. We're going to be honest, right? We're going to be real because that's all we heard on Fox News. Come on, people. You know what? Anybody military didn't believe it. A lot of the guys didn't believe it, but a lot of the girls did. Yep. It's mainly women. Deidre didn't. Kat says no. Angie says yes. There we go. Honesty, right? A lot of people said yes. Some people said no. Folks, let me listen to me when I say this. Sharia law was never coming to the United States. Why? Because I know her. And I know that there's 120 million just like her. And they would cut any man's balls clean off and cook them. Hold on, I'm going to give you a second. I'm giving you plenty of time. If Sharia law, this was the Republicans trying to scare America. And this specifically was the Tea Party Republicans, not the original Tea Party, which was libertarian, the Koch brothers Tea Party, which became religious zealots, Michelle Bachmann, Paul Ryan, Trey Gowdy, Jason Chaffetz, these people, the ones who all jumped out of politics because they were excommunicated from the Republican Party. And occasionally they'll come back, but they sold us on a lie that Muslims were going to take over America and that Sharia law was coming to the United States. Folks, it was a lie. It was never coming to the United States because this is what they wanted to do. They wanted to kill you. They didn't want to convert you. There's no such thing in the Quran that talks about converting Christians. You can be slaves and you can die. They don't want to convert us. We are the infidel. And unless we accept Allah forever, according to the extremists, not the Muslims, the extremists, we deserve worse than death. I'm going to ask you to stop letting people tell you who to hate. It goes against your religion. It goes against Christianity. And it goes against your human nature as being good people. To hate. Right now you're being told to hate all trans people. And I'm not telling you that you don't have to like them. You don't have to hang out with them. You don't have to condone what they do. But what you have to do is stop hating. Because not all trans people want what they're telling you they want. In fact, many of them are against it. A lot of them are against it, just like a lot of Muslims are against ISIS and Al-Qaeda and Red Brigade and Hezbollah and the Sunni and Shiites and Muslims. This is not as simplistic as you think, just like we are not all insurrectionists, right? They're telling the Democrats right now that we're all insurrectionist Nazis. Do you see the parallels? Democrats believe we're Nazis who are insurrectionists. That's what they believe. Every Republican. And we believe they're all socialists. It's not the truth. It's the farthest thing from the truth. 90% of us are just moderate Americans who don't give a shit and just want to make our money and pay low taxes and get to fucking work and come home and watch some hoops or watch some puck. I'm not saying that the Democratic Party is the cat's meow and become a Democrat. That's not what I'm saying. There are very key differentiators between our parties, and there's a reason for that. What I'm saying is there's no reason to hate them. Now, the ones who threaten my life today, the hundreds, okay, that's different. But that has nothing to do with them being a Democrat. They're an asshole. I want you to stop believing everything you hear, especially when people tell you how to feel. I will never on this show tell you how to feel. I'm asking you to stop hating. The worst people who I run in with on this show, you know it, I try to make amends by the time we hang up, and I try to build a relationship. Look at the people who we've come head to head with, and then all of a sudden at the end, we're okay, and now they're lifelong fans of the show. You owe it to yourself to let it go. Sharia law wasn't coming. Muslims weren't going to take over the United States. Black people aren't evil. It's okay for them to have equal rights and civil rights. Women aren't the devil who need to be burned at the stake. Jews aren't the problem. They don't own Hollywood and all the money. George Soros isn't the root of all evil, although he's a lot of it. And the Koch brothers aren't the root of all evil, but they're a lot of it. Throughout history, hate is antithetical to compassion and love and understanding. And it starts some of the worst chaos in world history is hate. And most people don't even know why they hate other people. That is my speech. Livia, your thoughts?
Well, yeah, I never thought it was coming to America. I mean, I've had a couple run-ins with Middle Eastern men, and unfortunately it was at work, so I couldn't really say what was on my mind, but yet they were real assholes the way they treated me and the way they treated my boss. My boss had none of it. But I mean, they definitely thought they could come over and boss us around, but I knew nothing would ever come of it. I mean, American women are way too strong to do that. We have guns too, so.
Yeah, and you have boobs. And you have opinions, and you're strong. And listen, I know there were ISIL videos and ISIS videos, and I can't believe I said ISIL. Excuse me, I meant ISIS. Can't believe I just pulled an Obama. ISIS video.
Infidel. I wanted to play it earlier, but I don't know when you're serious and when I should play it.
I'm not serious. No, listen, the 2 times that I've snapped, I love it when you play it in the middle of things. I just didn't know why you played it that one time. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And it kind of scared me because I was in the zone. You gotta understand, I have noise canceling headphones, and it was in my ears, and it kind of made me jump. You know how I am with noises. You drop a plate and I fucking do a combat roll and pull out a gun. But and that with Maxine Waters, I just didn't know what the frack you were doing. But folks, listen, I want to say that is the most we've had. We almost had 200 between Rumble and this. We still got 160 people on. It's nice to see the site grow. It's nice to see the live and the interaction. And I don't have all the answers. And I'm still trying to learn how to live my life. And I'm still trying to learn how to be a decent human being. And trust me, when the demons come, I don't always like what I see. But every single day, the best advice I can give you is when I was a DM or a VP or whatever, is that when I would leave for the day, I would grab my keys and I would open my car and I'd sit down and I said, did you enrich somebody's life today? And if the answer was no, no matter how late it was, no matter what time of day it was, I would get out of the car and I'd go back into that store and I would try to enrich a life. And maybe it's just a question, or maybe it's buying someone a coffee or saying thank you. But if you can just try to do one thing a day to make somebody's life better, it'd be amazing how good you'll feel. And people ask me all the time, How do you not let stuff get to you? People constantly say shit that would just drive me crazy. The moderators were in a group today and they're just like, dude, I don't know how you do it. Like the things people say to you, and I'm just like, because I don't process any of that. Because there's something they're trying to say. They're just too stupid to say it, or they're too hateful to say it. And I want to try to find out because I care. I'm inquisitive. I'm curious. I want to know what they think. I really want to know what they think. So I, A, know how to combat their idiocy, or 2, I can learn something. So to me, it's just window dressing. It's like digging for treasure. You're going to have to go through some mud and some rhino shit, but eventually you're going to get to the gold. I know I've got to dig through some refuse in order to get to people's treasure. And tonight I'm going to dig plenty to get to Olivia's treasure.
I knew that was coming. I knew that was coming.
All right, folks, go over to the Don't Unfriend Me store. You can find it at The Dumb Show, all my social media, but the Dumb store is thedumbshow.com. Over there, you can see our schedule, our podcast. You can listen to it live. You can listen to it recorded. You can watch the show recorded or live. You have a full catalog of all of our shows. You can also get coffee, shirts, hats, all of that type of stuff. Blog is over there. I haven't added to the blog in a while, but I need to. Got to get that done. But stop on by thedumbshow.com. 10% goes back to veterans and the Travis Mannion Foundation. You can use code DUM10, DUM10, for 10% off. And you can get some great stuff. Everything over there is awesome. I'm telling you, the shirts, the hoodies, the hats, it's all high quality shit. The dummies love it. Also, one last thing. On your phone, if you go ahead and look in the lower corner, there'll be a like and a heart, and there'll be a little box, a blue box. If you click it, that actually will take you to our $1.99 a month subscribe page, which allows you to come in and talk to the other dummies, be a part of the group. It's $2. It costs me nothing. And honestly, it gives you 15% off the Dumb Store, which pays for itself in a heartbeat. And you can use that code indefinitely. Join the group and come say hi and talk to us. We post some different things. I go in there and talk once in a while. We would love to see you. Thanks for watching. Olivia?
Thanks for watching, y'all. Night.
Good night, everybody. I will go out with a veteran crisis hotline like we always do. God bless, and please take care of vets. I'm tired, and my eyes are watering, and I will see y'all tomorrow.
I'm David Boreanaz with the Cast of SEAL team, and we have an important message for returning vets.
We want you to know if you're struggling to cope, there's help, and it's just a phone call away.
The Veterans Crisis Line is staffed with experienced professionals who know your struggles.
There's no greater sacrifice in service to our country. We're able to enjoy our freedoms because of it.
Your service is important. You are important.
For vets and their families, the Veterans Crisis Line is here to help 24 hours a day. Please call